Hey everybody, it's Andy. Happy Tuesday morning, Careers and Coffee time. Thanks for joining me. I love these Tuesday morning time slots. Want you to know I am flying solo today. So I may have to be doing a little talking and glancing, but I'm going to do my best because my partner Kara is off for something else. But great to have you. Hope you guys enjoyed the quick, I think maybe 4-minute video that I had this morning on one of my best tips for starting a new job. I want to talk about that for a minute or two, and then I want to go right to some questions. I want to make a few announcements of what we have going. I got a ton of stuff going on over the next 6 weeks. Lots and lots of free and some paid training on everything that you can imagine. So great to have you. If you're here with me live, get in the chat. Tell me who you are, where you're from, what you need. You can ask me anything this morning. Let me know if you are in one of my programs, because I always love to say hello to you. Just give me your hashtag. I see a few people did that already. But great to have you. It looks like the stream is okay. And it's never a great feeling flying solo, but we're going to do our best. All right. Happy Tuesday. All right, listen, Adam Stark is wildly in the front of the line, and we're going to go right to his question. Oh, today, got my Ralph Lauren cup that somebody gave me. It's kind of nice. I'm wearing my Life is Good, you see that? Life is Good sweatshirt. Because even though it'll be, I'm sure, 90 today, I'm still cold. But just want to talk before we get to Adam's question. Just talk for a few minutes about the video this morning. Actually a couple of weeks ago, it might have even been on one of the early shows. We got a great question about somebody starting a new job. And I think that there are a lot of things that you need to do to set yourself up for success. But at the end of any day of your life, everything that you do is about people in your life, your family, your friends, but work too. And while corporations are made up of buildings and processes and methodologies and all that great stuff, and the customers that they serve, ultimately what makes companies successful is the way that the people within them operate together in harmony. What that culture is like, it's getting those personalities to gel together. And so the tip this morning was really about making sure that you understand how what you do influences or can benefit or is impacted by anybody in the process that you touch in your methods, in your practices, in what it is you're doing. So whether you're servicing something, making a widget, or whatever it might be, somebody does something, they hand it to you, you do something with it, you hand it to somebody else, whether that's somebody else inside your company that's in line to do the next thing, or whether that's off to the customer or back and forth with the customer or whatever it might be, or to your boss for approval or whatever it might be. The more you can get that down and how what you do affects them, and then showing some genuine interest in communicating with them, understanding what it is they need, understanding what it is, or explaining to them what you do with what they give you, whatever it might be. But the more you can understand each other and help each other in the process, I think the better you're gonna do. And I think that's where I'd spend a lot of my time early on, just trying to understand the touch points. The other thing is, and a lot of you, I know you're familiar with this video where I talk about when you're in the interview process, you want to make sure that you are getting what the true success metrics or what the makeup looks like. So in a year from now, what will I have done that you would consider successful? And that is one of my favorite questions for you to ask during the interview process. And it's also one of the best things that you can do when you start a new job, is making sure that you have clarity with your boss, with your team, with the stakeholders, with your customers. So now it's there's a lot more people that you're trying to get that data from. What does that look like? So what are you working toward? And also, how are you going to be measured in the process? So, and now you have on an ongoing basis something that you can use as not only the benchmark, but the checkpoints as you have your weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, annual reviews. Those are things that you should keep in mind. So that's another tip that I would suggest. And I mentioned in the video that there are 12 of them. If you are in my leadership program, or you are in my job search boot camp, or you have enrolled in my Career Accelerator program, you have access to all the other stuff that I go into about how to do well in your first 90 days, and also how to position yourself for promotion. That's in the premium package. It's in my Career Accelerator program, but you get that as a gift when you join my leadership program, or when you join my job search boot camp, or when you enroll in it on its own. So if you want more training on that, I would highly recommend getting into that program. It's really, really a great package. It's 5 modules. It goes into that stuff. It goes into how to generate brilliant ideas. So I go through excellence planning each morning. There are questions that I ask myself that ultimately help me brainstorm with almost 0 prompts, but you can get into a creative moment instantly, and then you think through certain things about what you do in your job, or for me, what I do in my business as it relates to servicing you, marketing to you, creating great products for you, building communities, other things like operational stuff inside my business. But everybody in any job that you have does these things. You service somebody. You have teammates. You have a community that you serve. Yours might look a little different than mine, but basically that's another element. There's also all my organizational tactics, as well as how to prepare for the actual discussion when you go in for your reviews. What do you need to pull together? What should you have been thinking about well in advance? I'm talking like within a year in advance, and all that good stuff. And then how do you have the discussion? That's what that Career Accelerator program is about. But it's like a $400 program, but it's a pretty sweet gift with a lot of those packages that I offer. All right, I want to take some questions, and then I want to get you a little more news on what's going on. I'm assuming everything is okay. Looks like people are shuffling in. I know my face is a little bright, but the only way to get rid of that is for me to dismantle my entire setup, because I don't like these dark mornings. Dark mornings. Okay. Adam Stark, like I said, first online always. Let's go with you, buddy. With creating a targeted company list, do you have any advice on researching and discovering if a company meets your ideal environment, culture, general needs before you even apply and interview? Adam, without question, you can get a feeling without question. There's no way you're going to get the full answers until you get into the interview process and you observe it. But here's what I tend to look for. And this is a phenomenal question for all of you that are job searching, which I know is quite a few of you. When I think about creating a target company list, so if you're not familiar with what Adam is referring to, I recommend that you operate your job search according to a target company list. Number one, you join a company, you don't join a job. Number two, it's easier for you to manage who you're contacting, when you're contacting. It also allows you to control the outflow of your communications. So when you search based on position, you are limiting the possibilities and opportunities that you have in this world according to what is listed and available to you in the public domain. If you target organizations, the possibilities are endless. Just how you can find a company, you can contact them, and you never know what's going to happen. And don't be shaking your heads thinking, well, if they're not advertising an opening, there's a low likelihood that they would be open to talking with me about a possibility of working there. That's flat out not true. And organizations are always hiring. And if you got 10 salespeople, you can always trade 2 of them out, even though they don't have a publicized opening. You get my gist here. You should be contacting organizations that do not have publicized openings. The other thing about that is, number one, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Number two, they're always willing to trade people out. Number three, you're going to have a lot lower competition. Okay, they don't have as many resumes coming in. Not as many people are doing this. So that's what Adam is talking about. As he starts to create that targeted company list, what he wants to know is there an extra layer that I could review just kind of superficially to ascertain whether this organization is likely to meet my cultural needs. And some of the things that I tend to look for because of my cultural interests, does the organization look fun or does it look stiff? Are they posting up pictures of their philanthropic stuff and their corporate outings? Does it look fun? Are there testimonials from their employees on the website or videos or written testimonials or a podcast or something that shows me that people love working there? Am I getting those senses? So I start to look through that. Is there anything in the news that is letting me know the type of person they hired? What's that person's background? And then you can start to look at the makeup of the backgrounds of the people inside the organization. Do they all come from stiff, big, large organizations? You can probably bet your bottom dollar if that's the case, there's going to be a lot of overhead built into the company. It's just a general rule of thumb, but this is what I look at, and I seem to be correct as I'm looking to identify organizations that we might want to recruit for. So my executive search for Mile Walk, when we recruit for organizations, we look at all of this stuff as well in advance of going and taking and basically interviewing them with the questions we would ask to determine, is this the kind of culture we would want to represent? So those are the kind of things that I would look for, and you can start, extrapolating what does that environment look like. And I don't want to go so far as to say, the feel of their corporate website. I enjoy looking at a beautiful website, but I want you to remember this. When you look at somebody's website, I'm looking for the information that's on the website. I'm not judging them by how, is it state of the art? Is it totally current? Is it totally fresh? Because when you think about it, you're not your resume, right? They're not their website. Now, I understand that they should want to represent themselves effectively to entice people to want to work there, as well as customers and so on. But I would say the same thing to you about your resume. So just a few words of caution. And so I don't get overly hung up if the website's not super sexy and all that good stuff, but I do try to look for the news. I do try to look for those kinds of things that would give me an indication. But the fact of the matter is, my friend, you're going to have to get in there and dig. But that's what I would do. That will give you a pretty good cursory review of whether you think the culture is enticing. And then, you know what? That should spawn some questions that you're seeing out there on the website. That should stimulate, what kind of questions you want to ask them. Then I would go in and take my shot and then ask them in the interview process. And good morning to you. It's afternoon by you. So what is it, like 1? Is it? I don't know if it's 12, almost 12:15 or 1:15 by you, but happy afternoon to you. E-Dubs, how are you from Tampa, Florida? Two-way, hey, it is great to be back. Lot to learn at the workplace. Yes, you have the new job. I love it. I love that you're here. Okay, any general advice, because I am not able to effectively deliver with these with my customers. I'm wondering if you are referring to, hey, let me look at this again. I don't know if you're referring to the video this morning. I'm having a difficult time being able to know all the processes, products, explanations. So my recommendation, if I'm reading your question correctly, you're in a new job. I know you're in a new job because you've announced that. It's been great to be able to help you with that. There is a get up to speed time. And I'm wondering if you, I know you're not able to know all the processes, products, and explanations, but my view of all of this is when you start a new job, my additional advice is you got to put the extra time in to make sure that you understand the concepts and the framework so that as you look at the details inside of whatever it is that you do, you have better context for why you do certain things. And the reason that understanding the ideas, the strategy, the overall processes is incredibly important is because the details within the steps are a lot easier to discover, determine, and remember if you have the overall framework in mind. So one of the things that I would say, and I don't know what your exact position is, but there is an element of working in overdrive and overtime to catch up on that stuff. But when I'm trying to learn the details of what I do, the mistake most people make is they want to try to remember the details. What is that? What should I say? How should I explain that? And so forth. When start at the top, try to understand what the overall schematic looks like, because then as you're explaining the different pieces along the way, it's going to be easier to remember them, and you will have much better, not only context, but a much better perspective about what's happening. So I say get out of the weeds. Try to make sure you understand why things are done the way they're done, what the overall schematic looks like, and then fill in the details. But that's going to take some extra work. So I hope that helps. I hope that hit the mark. All right, E-Dubs, I received a job offer right after the final interview. Awesome. I think I know where this is going. All right, I crafted within 24 hours thank you email. Beautiful. I want to negotiate my salary, but should I do so in the thank you email? Fantastic. You're welcome. Fantastic question. So for all of E-Dubs and for all of you, I do have a number of videos out there that I've packaged into a salary negotiation playlist on the YouTube channel. Highly recommend you look at that. One of the things that is paramount that you do when you want to negotiate, there's a couple of things that I want to comment on because you're touching on some very, very key points here that I think a lot of people trip up on. Number one, you need to plant the seed that you will be coming back with something, meaning a counteroffer. So when you receive an email, you said, I got a job offer right after the final interview. I'm assuming that this was in person. So when you get that offer, you want to be grateful, right? Thank you so much for the opportunity. But you also do not want to be silent, because lots of people think that if you look at it and you do not say anything, they incorrectly assume that silence is compliance. And if you come back at a later date and you start asking for more, then they think, well, geez, you didn't say anything when we gave you the offer. I didn't really know that I thought you were okay with it. I'm not saying that that's accurate. I'm saying that that's what happens a lot. So what I like to do is immediately, if I have not had time to digest it, let's say they explained it to you. Okay, here's the broad strokes. We want to offer you $50,000. There's a 5% bonus, whatever it was. So they go through this, and then what I always like to say is, thank you very much, so on and so forth. There's a few other things I like to go through, and then I like to say, I want to know if there's any wiggle room in this, meaning, is there any way we can go up? I don't like the words, can I have more? It's not enough. You don't want to use language like that. But basically, you want to plant the seed that, hey, I would like to go and review this in detail and think about it. But before I do that, I'd like to know if there's any wiggle room. I would not ask that in an email. I would make sure that I do that upon first explanation of the offer, meaning when somebody is verbalizing it to you, whether it's on the phone or whether it's in the video or whether it's in person. So you want to plant the seed immediately, then you want to go off. You never want to email them again until you can speak with them. The only time you would email them is, hey, can we talk at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, or whatever it is that you're going to set up logistically. You do not give them any insight or ask any questions in an email from that point forward, ever, about the dollars. Okay, so you don't want to ask for more vacation. You don't want to ask about, none of that. Everything should be done verbally, because there's too many ways for him or her or them to misconstrue your sentiment, and it gets lost in the email. So you want to go back to them live. So the answer to your question in the thank you email, you don't want to say anything. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm super stoked. I want to make this work. I'm going to look it over, and I will get back to you by whatever the date is, something like that. And then you go back, then you verbally have the discussion. I'm not going to go through all the hows and wherefores. You can get that out of the salary negotiation videos that I have. But to answer your question, that's how I would handle it. So you immediately want to let them know that you're going to come back with something. You don't ever want to put anything in email. You never want to ask any questions related to your offer in an email ever. It's the biggest sin in the world. Don't do it, please. And, other than, hey, this is great, everything looks awesome, I'm going to accept it as is, but I have some questions, that's fine, but don't, if you want to negotiate, don't put any of that stuff in an email. So I hope that helps. Evelyn O, my boot camper, hey, give me your boot camp hashtag. I want to see the medallion signs. Varun, how are you? Morning to you too, my friend. What do you do when you're in the middle of an interview? The hiring manager tells you she swears a lot as part of her communication. She said it twice on the second round as well. Varun, I don't know what to tell you. It depends on how you feel about that. If she says she swears a lot, I personally don't care. I don't have sensitive ears. I'd be a little bit more concerned if she said I was political and shifty and lie a lot. But I know you are of my age and demographic, right? We're 106 years old, you and me. So I can't tell you what to do there. That's a personal preference. So it really is a personal preference. I'm guessing there are a lot of people that are out there that will absolutely love her because she's got a mouth like a truck driver. And I'm sure there will be some people that will be turned off. The one thing I will say that might surprise you is I give her some props for being honest. And, in case that is something that's a turnoff to you. So I support you. That's all I care about. You're sitting here in my community asking me for help. My advice is however you feel is however you feel. I will never tell you how to feel. But you got to go with how you feel about that. It wouldn't bother me. I might get on fine with her, but I think everybody's got their own style, and I think that's entirely up to you and how you feel about that. Let's be honest, folks. When I was 22, I got up every morning. I got in the shower. I put my suit on with the top button, and I had to wear the suit and the tie, and they told me I couldn't be wearing shirts with stripes. I mean, it was and I went to work every day, 5 days a week, and there was no swearing, and there was no nothing, and the shoes had to be shined, and all that stuff. And that went on for a lot of years. And then it was, casual Fridays. Then it was jeans. Now it's shorts, cutoffs, and ripped pants with, holes in them and whatever. I mean, I can work from home in my pajamas, kind of thing. So it also, our entire culture, our society, at least in the U.S., has become very relaxed. And, people become more and more comfortable. And candidly, this workforce now has a lot of people in it that have never, number one, have ever been in an environment like that. Number two, at least in the U.S., have been in the sweetest of economies. They've never been punched in the face or in the mouth with a bad employment market. And while individually we all suffer our own fate or enjoy our own fate based on what we do, where we do it, our demographic, how in demand our skills are, and so forth. But lots of people have never been through a lot of rough stuff. And that will change soon, but it will change because it always does. But how you feel about this is entirely up to you. So my guess is, you are old enough where you have been through enough different types of environments, and I just say use your best judgment how you feel about it. I know it was I circled around there a little bit, but I think those are good points. All right, Ryan Dunson, 1 of 2. First timer, welcome aboard. First timer, happy Careers and Coffee to you. Can we all give Ryan Dunson a big Careers and Coffee hug? First timer, found you a few weeks ago, and I am loving all the information you provide. Thank you. I love having you. Found you on YouTube while searching for resume videos. Beautiful. Spent the $7 on the Interview Intervention book yesterday, and I am extremely grateful for all the free products you provide. You are welcome. Guess what, Ryan? Can I tell you something else? Okay, I'm gonna sprinkle a little announcement in here. This book, for those, okay, so one of my announcements, this book is free. I bought it for you. I put the ebook together in the audiobook, and there's some extra ebook bonuses and chapter notes and other things. When you grab this, for $7, I ask you to chip in, and I send it anywhere in the world. And the one thing that I have had to start clarifying for everybody, because I get questions about this, I actually pay for your shipping too. If you're in the US, it's a few bucks. It's like $3 or $4. If you're outside the US, it's somewhere between $16 and $30. I pay that. What you're paying for with the $7 is for me to store it, for the guys to pick it off the shelf, the envelope costs, and so on. That's what you're reimbursing. So people crack me up when they say, well, the book's not free. Well, the book and everything else is free. I'm asking you to chip in. So I want you to know that's really kind of what it is. I put shipping and handling on that site because that seemed to make sense to people. This book is now free. It's actually free now. Starting right now, this minute, I'm just announcing it. You can actually get this book. Same deal, $7. I think I ordered like 500 copies only. Normally, like Interview Intervention, we order by the thousands. But I wanted to see how many people are interested in this goal-setting book. It's called Out of Reach But Insight, Using Goals to Achieve Your Impossible. And the page is up and everything is working, and all the mechanics of our ability to deliver this to you are now in order, and starting right now, you can get it. Although I don't think I've publicized the page yet. But I want you to know it's available. $7, same thing. And on if you want the double whammy, I don't know if you guys saw this. Can you see this? This is the live agenda of a goal-setting masterclass that I have September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But you can download, I don't know if you can see this, but it's like 3 days. You see, I don't know, you see this? It's like 3 days of goodness. It's like 3 hours of pop. And I give you the agenda. And so imagine you can grab this book. You can grab this book, and I'm doing a whole course that I'm filming, and you can come free. I'm not going to give you the course. You can watch me do it. You can watch all the lessons, and I will teach it kind of like my boot camp. But there's 5 modules. You can join me live. It's free, September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I did put the link in the chat to the Goal Setting Masterclass. When you go to that page, you can register and you can download the agenda. You don't have to opt in to download the agenda. You can just take the agenda if you're not sure if you want to register for it. But if you're not sure, register. And it's going to be in a private room, so you need to register if you want to communicate with me during the live show. And so I give you the agenda. I'm going to go through everything that you need to know about goals. It's not going to be dry and boring. It'll be philosophical. It'll be tactical in nature, but goal setting is drudgery. I mean, it's a lot of nauseating work for a lot of people, and I think I've got a way to make it fun, make it enjoyable. If you've read Out of Reach But Insight, you know it's a fun, fast read. It's more of a motivational book than a specifics how-to, but we're going to go into the specifics in this goal-setting masterclass that I'm doing September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So I hope you guys join me. I'm starting to circulate the social media on that stuff. If you're on my email list, you'll likely get an email on Friday, with saying, hey, this is what it's all about, and we'll go from there. So those are a few announcements. I've got a few more that I want to hit, but I want to keep rolling on your questions. So let me know if you guys are excited about this book. I mean, it's really a lot of fun. It really was a lot of fun to do. All right, Akshay, 1 of 2. Hey, Andy, so I'm sending out emails to recruiters and also getting replies. Awesome. Recruiters are saying that I should apply on their website. Okay. To that, I replied, who should I follow up with? A week to check whether somebody reviewed my resume. To that, I am not getting replies, or either getting a reply that the recruiter will reach out to you if there's a fit. Any suggestions? Yes. So if you are connecting with the recruiter, you know who to reply to see if they got your resume. So I'm a little surprised if I'm assuming these are corporate recruiters who you've found, and they're replying to you and they're saying, just put it in the career portal. And what that's doing for them is it's allowing the applicant tracking system to filter it, because they must be either uber busy or uber lazy, one or the other. But if you sent me your resume and I'm a corporate recruiter, and I would open it, because it would only take me like 1 millisecond to hit the button. Up on the screen, your resume comes, and then I would glance at it really fast. If I liked you, then I would say, okay, go put it in the system, and I've got your resume here. We will review it and we will circle back with you. Now, the recruiter might have a lot of positions, so you just don't know. There might be multiple recruiters in the company. You might not have hit the right one who wasn't looking for those positions. I'm not sure what the situation is. I'm not sure who the companies are. I'm not sure how many inside corporate recruiters, screeners, HR people that they have. It could be any one of those things. If it's me and I'm getting those responses, I do what they say, I put it in the applicant tracking system, and then I follow up in a week and just see if there's anything. I would not wait for them if I don't hear from them. If you don't hear from them, it could be for any one of a number of reasons, because you could have put in a beautiful resume that you are totally qualified for the position. I could be on vacation for a week. I might have had to deprioritize that position for a little while. It could be any one of a number of reasons. So I would still follow up with them, and then I would do 7 days. And if I don't hear from them, I'd go 14 more out, and I would still follow up with them. That's what I would do. Just stay on top of it. You just never know. You just never know. Anna Goldman, my dear leader, yes, with all those beautiful pictures from Italy that I enjoy watching on the Instagram feed. By the way, yes, if you guys are not connected with me on LinkedIn, or want to follow me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, I always welcome that stuff. You are welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. You don't have to just follow me. You can connect with me. That way you can at least leverage my network. It's got quite a few people that I'm connected to on it. I'm happy to do that. And I enjoy, kind of watching the pictures and all that stuff too, and watching your feeds and what you got going on and what you guys are posting, because it also helps me. I like to be connected to you because it also puts you in my feed, and then what I'm seeing is what matters to you, what you're commenting on, what questions you're asking, and then it also helps educate me on things to provide for you in the way of support. I don't think people get that, right? Like, I know somebody said, well, geez, I didn't want to, connect with you. I didn't think you'd be interested. Why not? I love staying connected with you. I love lending my network to you, and I love seeing what you got going on. I read all that stuff. I spend time every day on my calendar. My time on my calendar that says go do social media is not wasted time. I'm not looking at kitty cat pictures or whatever. I'm really working, and you are all part of that work. And work's not a bad word. Work's a great work. I love what I do. The more I can understand what you need, the better I can be at my passion and my job. So let's get connected like me and Anna are. All right. Akshay, you are amazing. Really appreciate it. You are welcome, and hope you have a good morning. So Tuesday morning now, I used to roll out of bed and go for a run. Oh, now the guys are mowing lawn. Now I talk to you, and I stay in bed. I literally stay in bed. And my wife and I and the dogs, we stay in bed, we have coffee, and then at 6 o'clock, because we're up at 5, I'm up at 5, and then at 6 o'clock, she gets in the shower, and she was going to say hello to you guys, but she had an early morning meeting because her school officially started yesterday. And then I throw on my clothes, and I talk to you guys. I love this. I love this routine. Then I run a little later in the morning. Peter Torres, hey. How am I doing? I'm assuming nothing's blowing up here. Everything looks green. I don't like not having Kara on the other end and letting me know that everything's okay, but I'm just going to keep rolling here. Varun is because of your journal. You're now starting to write a journal. Where's my journal? Dang, it's over there. Okay, so I have a video out there on how I keep my journal. I loved doing the video for you. I hope you guys check it out, but it's pretty cool. Carrie Freeman, hey. Yeeson, hey to you. Warren Coyle, how you doing, my boot camper friend? Where's Mama Coyle? Aretha Gale, good morning to you. Life is good. Any birthday week celebrations? I'm celebrating my birthday with you guys. August 27th, you got to come out. I'm sure I'm going to give gifts away. I'm going to give stuff away like crazy that morning. Ivana, hey. Red tequila. Oh, ouch. Good morning to you. That just hurts. Help me convert an academic career resume. And Yeeson? Oh, so that's what you are, an MD. You for folks in academic, I would have a blended resume. I would have a Andy LaCivita resume with a CV page in the back, and I would highlight my CV stuff as it related to the commercial field that I wanted to go into. So you gotta do a connecting of the dots. Janine starting a new job on Monday. Good for you. Kat Harrison Peterson, it's a big day for you. I think I'm making my decision today. Kat, I got your texts. I haven't read them. I didn't have time before the show. I know you got all kinds of offers going on, my boot camper darling, and I'm sure you are going to make a good decision. Just finished interview. Great. Thank you for all the amazing chapters. When is the next part coming out? Let's see. Interview Intervention? When is the next part coming out? I'm not sure what the next part is. I'm not going to be writing another job searching book. I wrote the Interview Intervention book. I wrote the Hiring Prophecies. And my next book will not be on job searching. Book number 4 will be on something related to leadership or something self-help related for sure. Mark my words. JB, hey. Diana, I know. Good morning to you. My boot camp. I know you love the morning time slot. Hey, speaking of, let me see, 7:37. I want to make one more announcement. For those of you that are on my email list, you probably got the word that I have a resume writing class. It's all my secrets. It's all my resume stuff in one spot. It's everything you need to know. It's the templates. It's the booklets to drive your content. It's the topics for the section. It's sample sentences. It's everything. It's your journal and so on. And then, so I have a video of that, all the tools and templates. I have an extra video of handling all the exceptions, stay-at-home mom, contractors moving to full-time, you name it. All that's in there. And then last night, I took a video of mine where I have answers to the 30 most common resume questions, and where I answer them. It's about an hour. I put that in the package as well. All of that stuff is normally like $300. But this week till Thursday, it's $49. Even if you're not resume writing, you should get it, because either get it as a gift for somebody or get it for yourself for when you need it. But I want you to have a good resume. I can't totally give it away. So $49, it's yours. And then on Thursday, what would be the normal live office hour schedule for me is a private Zoom session for people that are in that program. So basically only the people that have that program and my boot campers can come to a resume specific Q&A at 11 o'clock Central on Thursday. That's your deadline. So you should have gotten an email, I don't know, maybe Friday. I'm not sending you a lot of stuff on this. I sent you on Friday. You got a little announcement in my regular Tuesday digest this morning, so you can grab it there. It's not on the Mile Walk Academy. You got to hit these links from inside these communications that I'm giving you, or it's in the chat. It's in the description here, and you might get a reminder email tomorrow about it. But we're having this thing on Thursday. So if you're a boot camper, you got a message to RSVP. If you did not get a message, if you're in the program or you're a boot camper and you do not get your RSVP message, support@milewalk.com, and we will get that to you. All right, Anna Goldman, 101, 202, maybe 1 or 2. I need to go yes, no with company 1 and the second company conferred in the final stage of the interview in 7 days' time. I want to go for that interview, but I don't want to lose the offer from company one either. The best thing to do here, dear Andy, dear Anna, is I would go to company one and say, I really like the opportunity here. I would really appreciate some time just to finish out the process with the other organization, because I want to make absolutely sure I am making the right decision for both me and you. And so I can assure you that I can have a date by, and then give them a date you can meet. You need to go to company two and you need to say, look, I've got an offer from company one. Now, depending on whether you like company two better or not, you can say either, but I'd like to finish this out with you, and to be respectful to company one, I really appreciate it if we can give a hard date by when we will know for sure if I'm the right person for the job. Is that right after the interview? Is it a day or two after the interview? You need to know, because I don't know how many other candidates are in the process, what the rest of this interviewing process looks like. And just say, I'm assuming that if you were in the lead position and made me an offer, that you would also want to know that. So I just want to be respectful to them. If option two is your preferred option, then say that to them. I really prefer your opportunity, but obviously if something doesn't work out, I don't want to lose this other one. So, and then just add that into your explanation. But you got to get a date, and you got to go back and you got to request it. If company one, now you have a couple of options. If company one allows you, say, okay, that's fine, go to that date and please let us know. Great. If company one says, no, we need an answer by that date, number one, to me, that sends me a signal that's not a great company. Okay, I would never want an employee to come and work with me and then continue to look over their shoulder, because here's what could happen, and here's what actually happens often, too often, in fact. You go, you work there, you're looking over your shoulder, you're bummed out, or you're going to do what I'm going to tell you here right now. If they make you give them an answer and you really, really want that second option, then I would keep going. Because any company that forces my hand like that, I'm going to continue to protect myself and make sure that I'm making the right decision. I know that sounds terrible, but you know what? Life's too short to be spending it looking over your shoulder and doing stuff you don't want to do, or doing stuff that I really should have done this, or I sleep like a baby at night because I never think that stuff. Okay? I never think that stuff, because I negotiate this stuff throughout my life, just like you're negotiating with these companies. If they force you, then you're in an awkward position. You can accept it if you want. You don't want to lose it, and then finish out the interview with the other company. And then what I would do is, if that other company gives you an offer, you go back and you say, I'm not showing up. I mean, it's terrible, but that's what I would do. I'm telling you, I think that's okay. I really do. You got to protect yourself. So it depends on what happens. What you really want to happen is, hey, I'm being respectful. I'm explaining this to you. Can I have the extra time? It's a few days, right? This is like, they gave you the offer. I assume they want you to accept it. If they can't wait another 3, 4, 5 days, a week or two, that's crazy to me. That's just crazy. I want you guys to know, as a recruiter who interacts with job candidates who sometimes have multiple streams going on just like this, if my client is in the front position and they give the offer and there's residual interviews going on, we always say, look, do you want to finish them out? What is it that, go ahead, go finish them out, because I don't want you taking a job and then you going and looking over your shoulder. And we do it the other way too. If they get an offer from somebody else who's not my client, we work it to make sure that we can try to finish out. And it usually works out for the best when you can get all the processes through. I know it's difficult sometimes, but I think you need to protect yourself. So that's what I would do. Leander, hey to you. Warren Coyle, my resume in Boss Hunting CL is set to go out at 8:45 a.m. for the first job I am applying to. Awesome. Billy Collins, hey to you, my friend. Wait, Warren Bootcamper, Billy Bootcamper, Don Bootcamper and leader, or at least the leader, I'm sure. I think you're in both. And thank you for committing to another year of fun in the Mile Walk Academy, Don. Knowledge House, learn and earn. Hey, how to crack an interview for the post of an English teacher in a senior school. Well, what I have come to learn in the educational arena, and my wife is a teacher in grade school. She has loads of teacher friends and administrator friends, principals, assistant principals. She has friends who teach high school, middle school, and so on. I've talked to all of them and helped all of them. They all have interview intervention copies. I've helped and coached them for jobs. I've looked at the processes. And here's what I've discovered in the lower education, so high school and on down, that a lot of what you need to do is you certainly need to apply. So they put the post up, and schools, unlike the commercial arena, are a lot more receptive to the applications that come in. Their interviews are highly expedited compared to what the commercial industry does. They try to interview a lot of people. They do it in a very short amount of time, meaning they spend less time with more people, where the commercial industry tends to spend more time interviewing less people. Okay, there is a back door as well, so that nonsense about, well, I can't get in because everybody has to apply. Yeah, everybody has to apply. But that doesn't mean friends don't hire friends. So my wife just didn't get a job because the principal chose her friend. And this happens. Okay, it's okay. My wife knows life's not fair. Too bad, right? Well, you'll go look for something else somewhere else. I mean, it's just the way it goes. So I would try to work my network. I would not be shy about it. I would be going after principals. We just had a situation the other day. My wife's best friend is the principal at a school. My wife gave her somebody that my wife used to work with. Bang, that woman, now fourth grade teacher, has a job over there. So, I mean, this stuff works. So a lot of the principles that I've taught you in the way of networking and all that other stuff applies. So I would check my my job search playlist, the job searching playlist on my YouTube channel. All the same stuff applies. I just think that in the lower academic field, they are far more receptive to taking resumes out of the applicant tracking system or the internal system that they use for their district to find people. They really are. I can stand by that. I got enough data points on that. All right, Aretha, hey. Faye, hey. Uzoma, hey. Ali, hey. Cecilia from London and my boot camper, how you doing? How do I answer interview questions like these without talking about career history? What gets you out of bed on a Saturday? You know what gets me out of bed on a Saturday? Writing my goal-setting masterclass. Best, worst workday. Well, okay, so what gets me out of bed on a Saturday, okay, it's a stupid question. It's not your fault. It's just a stupid question. They just want to know what your hobbies are, or what they think this is going to tell them what kind of person you are, and that from what kind of person you are, they're going to be able to make the whole leap over to what Monday through Friday is going to look like for you. So I would just tell them, what gets me out of bed on Saturday is I can't wait to slip on my running shoes. I don't care what you tell them there. Best and worst workday should be the same day, okay? Best and worst workday should be the same day. What do I mean? It was an awful day that turned into my best day because. That's your answer to that. So pick some major failure, and here's what I would say. My best work day was the day I catastrophically destroyed this project because I made an error on this. And then what I discovered was that my error led to the most awesome breakthrough ever. And while I didn't realize it at the moment, and I realized it a week or a year later, that was my best and worst day. Like, I would answer something like that, because that's the only way you're going to be able to work in the fact that you learned and all that good stuff. I can't, these questions are ridiculous. Cecilia, that's not your fault. I'm just saying these are silly. All right, James, how are you? Awesome. Good luck, buddy. Ryan Dunson, got another one. I have a second interview for an out-of-state job soon. At what point in the interview process should I inquire about relocation expenses? Never. All you need to say to them is, hey, you just keep going. You just keep going. You don't say a word. You get down to the offer. They're going to make you an offer. It's going to have relocation in it or not. That's what you're going to negotiate. And you're not going to negotiate it until you smoke all those interviews and your stock's way high. Okay? Don't ever bring that up. If your move is contingent on the relocation expenses, that is always negotiable. They might have a standard policy. They might have a standard allocation. They might not give you anything. So I would not ask for any of that until at the end. Now, you might be thinking, well, Andy, hang on. Well, what if I get down to the end and it's nothing? Well, if it's a large company, they'll have it, 100%. If it's a small to medium company, they may or may not have it. It doesn't matter if they have it or they don't have it. Anybody can cut you a $10,000 or $20,000 check as a stipend for moving or whatever. That may be negotiable. They might say, no, we're not going to give that to you, but we're going to throw an extra $10K on your base, or we're going to give you a $10,000 signing bonus. So it's not really, when you start talking relocation expenses, then what they start thinking is, well, okay, now it's conditional, and they start labeling what you care about. At the end of the day, you want the best job, and then you can decide if you want to carry the expense and move, or negotiate the expense, or split the difference, or whatever. I don't like talking about it. That to me is just, it's part of the package. It's part of the comp package. So I would hold off to the end. That's a fantastic question. I need to make Mark 751. That's a fantastic question. It really is, because I think a lot of people burp on that. Michael McDevitt. Okay, Michael McDevitt is my friend, and he got a great new job. And thanks for putting the video in the email. Best advice for starting a new job. I want all of you to know. Last week, I think it was at the Careers and Coffee, where I said, can we give my friend Michael McDevitt and my boot camper friend Michael McDevitt a big cheer for his new job? And I hope we can do it again now that he's here to see it. And yes, that is my best advice for starting the new job. So get to all those people. Aretha Gale, are the packages paid in full or monthly? I would love to join Mile Walk. Okay, so there's different packages. So there are, and I don't want to run through everything, but Aretha, because you asked, the Job Search Boot Camp, for all of you, Job Search Boot Camp is my signature package. It is everything you'll ever need. It is a hell of a lot of ongoing private group coaching. There's like 25 to 30 of these a year where you're with just me and the boot campers going through your stuff. That's pay all at once. There's 3 different packages you can buy, and you don't have to buy them all at once. But there's a base package. It's normally $597. I, throughout the year, many times in fact, run $497 promotions. If any of you want that package, there's a couple ways to get it. You email me at support. Well, you can go to the website, you buy it, and then you can email me and say, hey, Andy, I paid $597, but you said you'd give me $100 off, and then I'll refund you $100. Or you can email me at support and say, hey, Andy said I could have it for $497, and I'll give that to you. Then there's some add-on services like coaching and resume reviews that you can buy up front, or you can add at a later date if you need to. That's painful. There is a leadership monthly live program that I have. It's awesome fun. We're 6 months into this program. We meet once a month. If you can't meet with us live, you get the recording, but we go through leadership stuff like I did how to build your confidence, how to master your focus, making great long-term decisions, building trust, making presentations and persuasive arguments. So I've given you the outline to that. And then we just did one a few weeks ago on listening, the power of listening. You get all those. You also get my Career Accelerator. And if you want to go month to month, that's $49. If you want to go on an annual package, that's $297. So it's only $24.50 a month. That's a really sweet deal, and most of the people that were on the month-to-month have converted to the annual package because that makes financial sense. But that's another one. You can also join up like on the Interview Intervention course, and there's some other things that you can access this resume writing masterclass for 49 bucks. That's another option. So all of those are different programs, but those job searching ones are painful. The leadership one is a subscription. So I hope that helps. And I also, I don't really mention this a ton, but I probably should. There is a catalog of offerings of everything that we have on the Mile Walk Academy site up at the top. And also there's a Mile Walk Academy live calendar of events. So you can actually look at our Google Calendar. It'll show you where I am, when I'm live, whether it's a free or premium program. So like, are you in the boot camp? Is it the leadership stuff? Is it a Careers and Coffee or a live office hours Thursday? Is it the goal setting masterclass? I'm live like 3 times a week now, week in, week out. So you can usually find me somewhere if you want. So I hope that helps. And Aretha, you can always send an email to support@milewalk.com and I or Kara will respond to you. Victor, hey, from Italy, love it. Knowledge House Learning and Learn, or Learn and Earn. I've been changing a lot of jobs, domains in past few years. I've been working as a freelance trainer. How to explain my work experience in an interview. You are a freelance trainer. I would not use the word freelance. I would use consultant or contractor. And you've had your own business. You're a sole proprietor or an LLC, or if it's called Knowledge House Learn and Earn, I'm guessing it's not called that, but that's what I would do. You group it. You said the past few years, so between say 2016 to present or 2017 to present, that's what should go on your resume. Actually, in the resume writing masterclass, I go through all of that. I show you exactly how to lay that down. So maybe it's something to consider. Yep, he sure did. Michael McDevitt, thanks to all who gave me good luck. Hang on, I gotta grab this because this is wonderful. I love that, dude. I'm so happy for you. Trust the process and enjoy it. I'll tell you, you guys are awesome. All right, any advice on preparing for a job interview out of state? Yes, Dave. I have a video called "How to Get an Out of State Job." Just watch that. I go through 9 points. You'll crush it. Yvonne Powers, how you doing? Great to hook up with you on LinkedIn. Yeah, 1:15. Okay, so we're on daylight time. So yeah, all right. Anna Goldman, you are welcome. You are the best career coach ever. Facts, a month of deep self-awareness plus resume gets tremendous results, and you start choosing the companies to meet with. And if you guys don't know what she's talking about, one thing that I would say, biggest mistake that I see anybody make when they're job searching. This is it. The biggest job search mistake. It doesn't matter if you don't have a job. It doesn't matter if you have a job you hate. It doesn't matter if you have a job you enjoy and you're looking to, and somebody comes to you and says, hey, I got this great opportunity, whatever. Most people go into reactive mode and start evaluating their switch based on either what is presented to them. So I'm a passive person. I'm just going along in my job and my friend brought me an opportunity, or I'm in my job search and I have not collected my base set of requirements of everything that I need so that I have a standard benchmark by which I could choose the routes I want to take, whether it's a career or a company or a role. If you don't have that and you don't do that self-awareness stuff, you make a lot of mistakes. It's like any project. It's like building this house. If the blueprint isn't done first, right? The pipes don't meet in the bathroom where they're supposed to, that kind of thing. It's the same kind of thing with your job search. And if you want some help on that, I've got a video out there about how to choose the right job. And it's a great place for you to start. But it's really, really important that you do that. You Gloak, I don't know how you say that, but hey, from Singapore. Yasin, Andy, what's your suggestion for people having high qualifications and overseas experience but interested to enter the industry? I the same as anybody else. My commercial resume, I would lay it down. For you, I might have a little bit of a blend if there's relevant academic research, studying, teaching that you've done. I would have that at the back of the resume or as a separate attachment and I would try to highlight it to the industries or the markets that I was pursuing. The degrees themselves, and I'm not poo-pooing education. Education is wonderful, and nobody could ever take away your degree from you. But employers don't. It makes no difference to an employer. The only employers that I know that it makes a huge difference to are obviously in the academic profession, where you need certain degrees in education to do certain things. Obviously, I'm not talking about doctors or lawyers either, because you need to have those. You need to have your medical degree. You need to have your JD and so on. But in the commercial world, I have not found that education, number one, translates to success at all. And I have found, and here again, I'm drawing this from not just the 200 and some odd companies that I have represented, consulted to, and so on, and what their viewpoints, but all the surveys that we run, where we year in and year out for my executive search firm, up until like a year ago, we would do an annual survey about, will you hire people at executive levels without education? Yes, 90%. So, these are raw stats, but for you, you have what you have. Put it in there. It's not going to hurt you. It just isn't going to make as much of a difference as people might think. Steve G, you're here. And yes, and I always say this, is on DVR, so you can slide that cursor all the way back up to like 8 hours or 12 hours to a time you never need to worry. I'm not going to be live that long in one sitting. Hey, if you guys are at 8 o'clock, I'm going to go for a few more minutes. If you are loving this, click the little thumbs up button. Share this stuff. Thousands of people watched last week's way after the fact. So share this stuff out. I think people find it helpful. I think people like the Q&A. I personally love attending my coach's Q&A sessions because I learned so much from when other people ask questions about their business or how to put something together or how to market it or whatever. It's amazing what you can pick up. All right. Day, how to negotiate salary when the range is posted for a city job. If the employer is the employer willing to go above that amount, or should I stay within that range to negotiate? No, I think you should ask for what you feel you're worth. When you get into these city, municipal, government, state, and other various types of municipalities or organizations of that kind, lots of times what's happening is you're not negotiating for the salary so much, you're negotiating for the level. So based on my experience coming in, I should not be at this level, I should be at this level. And the posted range was for this level, but as I've shown you, my experience really warrants that I'm a G2, not a G1 kind of thing. I always negotiate. Everything in life is negotiable. Steve G, is it okay to decline an offer from a recruiter that contacts you about a job after reviewing the details of that position? I am not. Will this turn the recruiter off for contacting you in the future? So let me make sure I got this. If I'm a recruiter, I contact you about a position. We then go in to a client of mine and you go through an interviewing process and you get an offer and you decline it. That is okay. You will not turn me off unless you are doing something icky, like you're doing something shifty on the side, you're not telling me you got other offers, you're not communicating with me, and if you handle yourself poorly, that's what I remember, not the fact that you turned down an offer. I have several dozen people who we've recruited who went through processes that didn't either make it all the way to the end, or maybe they got an offer, maybe they turned it down, whatever it is, where we then put them into something else and they accepted a position. Okay, so that's okay. That doesn't bother me. It's how you handle yourself. If I'm reading you correctly, if a recruiter contacts you about a job and you review the details, you're not getting an offer, you're just not going into the interview process. In that case, I think you're being short-sighted. Do not, any of you, and I don't know, Steve, if this is your case, if you get contacted by a recruiter, you need to call that recruiter. I don't care what the position looks like. It isn't in your mindset this is what's happening. I'm a recruiter. I email you. And first off, I don't even email the positions, but let's say you get your hands on the position and you're looking at a position and you decide, hey, Andy, I'm a system or I'm a architect. I'm not a database administrator. If you do that, what have you just done to yourself? You've eliminated number one, you've eliminated the networking contact. I'm a window into the employment market. Number two, when I get you on the phone, you can now explain to me who you are, what you want. Now that goes into my system. Okay, my silly screener, who you don't know, who's using my email ID to contact you, doesn't have the right eye to know that you're actually an architect, not a database administrator. But you had keywords in, and he or she was confused. I never even saw it. So you think I'm contacting you when I'm actually not contacting you. Somebody else is contacting you, use my ID. You don't call me back. Now you don't have the opportunity to speak with me. You don't have the opportunity to explain. You don't give yourself chance that serendipity can happen to you, that other recruiters in my firm might have a position for you, and you lose the opportunity to give me something, as in networking, referrals, and so forth, which is planting seeds for you that I'm going to water, and in a year from now, I'm going to call you back on something else. Or when you call me when you need something, I'm going to call you back. You are in a dozen other things that you're not doing. So you are eliminating the opportunity to get on the phone with that person. Your first goal when a recruiter contacts you is to get on the phone any which way you can. That's it. If you're thinking, I need a job right now and that job doesn't match what I want, that is the wrong way of looking at it. It's flat out wrong. Like, it's not like, hey, this is an alternate view. No, that's just flat out wrong, because you're eliminating the possibilities for yourself at the moment and in the future. And it's a very short-sighted way to look at it. Steve, I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but if anybody is doing that, don't, please. Can you tell that? I mean, biggest mistake. You don't have 5 minutes to get on the phone and say, thank you for contacting me. Right now, I'm knee deep in a heap of crap. I don't have a ton of time. I love my job, whatever. Or if you're not working, you better be calling every recruiter back that ever reaches out to you in any form or fashion about any job. Because that's not what you're, that's just too short-sighted. Isis, how are you? E-Dubs, you are welcome. Hello, Toya. Richard Ford, hey. E-Dubs, true story. I don't care if you swear at me, just don't be political shifting. I love you guys. You just have no idea. All right, hey, listen, wait, okay, hang on. Quick announcements. Don't forget, this book's free. This book's now free, or you're going to see it right away. I only got 500 of these, so grab them. We're piloting. Grab the agenda, my goal-setting masterclass. September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Come to whatever portions of it you can. It'll be a ton of fun. The resume writing masterclass is Thursday. It's the best $49 you will ever spend in your life. And it's not just the $49. It's everything and all the stuff and all the community stuff and the private LinkedIn group and just all the Mile Walk Academy goodness that you get. All right, Evelyn O. This is a great question, Evelyn. Evelyn O. Negotiating salary when you need time to think about the offer. How much time can you take before you get back to them? So, Evelyn, and anybody else who is getting offers, this is very, very important. The longer you are in, there's two things that determine length of think time, let's call it. The length of time you're in the interview process. The longer you are in the interview process, the less time you need to think, because you should have been thinking for 7 weeks or 10 weeks or however long it is. The shorter the amount of time you're in the interview process, the longer you need to think. You might have more questions. You might need to consider some things. You might want to ponder some things. You haven't fallen in love with them as much because you haven't gotten to know them as well over a period of time. That determines the length as well as the complication of the offer. I'm in the middle right now of negotiating an offer for somebody, okay? The initial, this is how long it's taking. 6 weeks of interviewing, I talk to a client on in the middle of a week, and I explain to the client, this is how the package needs to be created. This is the different buckets you need to create. Actually, we're literally creating a new pay structure. Then you not only need to create these structures, but you need to create multiple scenarios for the candidate to choose from as the basis for the discussion. Because you want the candidate, who's a senior person, to be part of selecting the different components, bigger base, lower this, higher that, lower that, and so on, because you want to create options, and then you want to iterate the options with each other. This way, you both have choices, and then you come to an agreement. That's going to take some time. So he's got to create it, got to get it to me, I got to review it, he's got to deliver it to the candidate, they've got to talk, candidate's got to give his feedback, then it goes again, and so on. Now we're a couple weeks later, and then they had another call last night, and now they're going to wrap it up Friday. That's 2 weeks. That's not a long time. That was a process to create a complicated structure. The reason that I'm mentioning all this is if you are in one of these, then you're going to have think time embedded in the iterations themselves. And then what'll happen on Friday is they will literally on the spot, I'm completely comfortable with this, they will get together, they will finalize the numbers, they will ink it right there, literally sitting down across the table from each other. That's what we will do. That's what we will set up. Okay, if the guy on Friday, he doesn't need to think. He's been thinking for a month and a half now, right? But if you go into an interview process and you have an HR screen, and then the next day you go in and you meet 6 people, and then they say, "Hey Evelyn, this is great. On Wednesday we're gonna give you an offer." Well, you might need a little time to think about it. So you might want a couple days. You might want a week. None of that 2-week crap. That's ridiculous. I think it's okay that they give it to you. I don't think you should ever need that kind of time. I think once you have the offer, you've got the data, and Evelyn, I know you did your homework, right? You're going to marry it up. You're going to look at it. Now, this is different. The only other factor that comes in here is, do you have other things going on? So, like in Kat's situation, she had an offer, and then she has other things moving, and now she went to another place yesterday and they want to give her an offer or something like that. Like it's like there's things going, and so she needs to decide, well, okay, well, now what do I do? So if you got to buy, or like in Anna's case, you got to buy time, that's different. But when you're thinking, when it's like your sole which either your favorite option or your sole option, that's how I would approach that, and that's what you need to remember. All right. Kirsty B. 1 of 2 boot camper leader. I love it. You and I are locked in and loaded for a lifetime now. Hope you're well. I am. So I found out I didn't get the job yesterday. Boo. It's never nice to hear no, but as the process went on, I referred back to my happiness criteria and could see that it was maybe not quite what I wanted. I love that you did that. It's good that you did that, not only for good decision making, but for your psyche. Thanks to the boot camp, I still have other exciting potential opportunities, so keep going no matter what, and don't blow off Module 1. If you don't know what she's talking about in Module 1 is all of the self-awareness stuff in the boot camp, and this is what makes sure you make great decisions. So a lot of you that have been coming to these weekly sessions, about semi-weekly sessions, I should say, you see a lot of people saying, well, I had multiple offers, I needed to think through, or I get a lot of emails every week that say, thank you, I've been in this for 2 months, but I had offers that I turned down because I didn't, I thought through that I otherwise would have accepted had I not had that, but I know I made the right choice, and I can't believe how happy I am that I turned down that job or that didn't work out because now I have this. It's true. I know it's hard to be patient, but think about it. You're in it for the long game, even if the long game's a few years. I mean, it's still, right? Okay. Mark Loper. I am in the interview process. I have a vacation planned in December. When should I let them know? Mark, when you sign the deal. Nobody is surprised. Great question. Nobody is surprised that people have vacations scheduled. Okay? If they say, hey, we're going to make you an offer, is there anything we need to know about? What's your schedule look like? Hey, I want to put the start date in. When can you start? in that dialogue, you can let them know. I mean, at that point, literally, I've told this story before many times. We have had people start a job, work a week, and then take a week or two off. Or we've had people start a job and then work a month and then take a week off. That's when the kids' vacation is. It's when spring break was. It's when Christmas vacation was, or Thanksgiving, or whatever it is that you celebrate, whenever it is you celebrate it. So don't be concerned. Yeah, you guys. Okay, listen. I if you're in the Facebook groups with me and the LinkedIn groups, I'll post this right away. Last night, Kara and I fixed the engine that delivers this to you. It's a whole process. But it's up and running, and she's not here today, but I'm turning this sucker on because I want that book out and into the world. Luke, everything. My offer came in lower than I wanted. Any tips? Another marathoner here? Yeah, baby. Okay, you, me, and Kara, we love to run. Actually, I'm signing up for an Ironman next year. Next year I'm only doing a half Ironman, so 70.3, and then because I'm gonna be 54 when I run it, and then I'd be at the top of my age bracket. So then the next year when I'm 55 and I'm in the low end of my age bracket, then I could go for the win. You know, you got to have goals. You got to have long-term planning. Plus 140.6 is a lot to train for. It's like 24 hours of training a week. I could do the 70.3, no problem. But it's, anyway. So yeah, that's great stuff. All right, wait, where were we? Helping you. My offer came in lower than I wanted. You got to go back to them. Check back on the salary negotiation stuff. Hey, is there any wiggle room? Here's what I'm thinking, right? Based on the value that I'm going to add, based on my experience level, based on what you want me to do, based on my short learning curve, based on this and that and the other thing, you deserve more. That's all. You got to go at it. And don't be, like, if your offer, so wait, now there's a difference between expectations are silly. We don't want you to have expectations. That's the source of all the strain in our lives. Okay, right? We're upset because we expected that you were going to be nicer to me, or you weren't going to stab me in the back, or you were going to give me more money, or you were going to whatever. Those expectations are what drives your craziness. Now, if you genuinely got lowballed, that's different. Okay? Now, the first thing that's got to go through my head is, okay, first thing, because I own me, did I not sell myself? Like, did I actually legit not sell myself? Or are they trying to get me for the cheap, right? It could be one of the two of those, or it could be a combination of both. And then, how badly do you want the job? And then you got to stand your ground. Your negotiation leverage, I know when people ask me this, well, I don't have any, you always have negotiation leverage. I don't care if you've been out of work for 10 years. Your negotiation leverage comes from in here and how you feel about yourself, and are you willing to dig your heels in, and all that good stuff has nothing to do with all that arbitrary stuff that you think about. It has everything to do with you and your own internal workings, okay? So if you feel you're worth more, then you got to let them have it. Those are my tips. Gongoloid. I love this one. It looks like a little Batman sign. I've paid people on LinkedIn to rewrite my resume, and it looks great. Can't get an interview. Any advice? Well, I don't know if it looks great. I don't know. I had a boot camper once. He said to me, Andy, I'm using your bus hunting cover letter, and nothing's working. And I gave him basically a listing of how to diagnose what the problem was. Then after I gave him the list, he said to me, well, I had my resume professionally done. So truth be told, I didn't use your tactics, and I didn't write my resume according to your program. I said, send me the resume. I opened it, shut it, and then emailed him back and said, it's your resume. You need to go back to module 2 of the boot camp. You need to write it the way I tell you, and then I want you to send everything you did and let me know your stats. That guy's name was Kevin. Kevin got an interview then, after he changed his resume, for every 7 emails he sent out. I've shown this publicly. 1 out of every 7 once he changed his resume. So just because somebody wrote it doesn't mean it's great. So I don't know what it looks like, so I can't tell you if it's that. But let me give you a concatenation here of how I would try to diagnose the problem. If you got your resume and you think it looks great, are you getting interviews? If you're putting it in the applicant tracking system, first off, only 3% of those ever get through, whether they're perfect or not. Are you applying for the right jobs, right? Are any of that stuff? And your resume might be poor. If you're sending it to people and nobody is responding to you, then is your email messaging in your cover letter and your resume in order? If you're not getting anything there, I would start looking at who in fact are you targeting. And then if you feel like you're targeting the right people and they're not getting back to you, then I would say it's your marketing collateral, your resume, your cover, your message, or whatever. Okay, if you're getting interviews, but you're not getting the job offers, then it's your interviewing tactics and so on. But I would go back and I would take a look at this. I don't know who you are. I don't know that YouTube handle. I know some of you guys use these funky handles, but I actually know who you are. I don't know who you are, and I'm assuming you're not in my programs, but if you are, you can go into the boot camp or whichever program you might be in and ask me the question inside the system. And I would, if you're not in one of my programs, I would take a look at my Build Your Ultimate Professional Resume video, where I actually give you the template and all that good stuff, and then see how it marries up. But I without knowing what that looks like, I can't tell you. I really can't. You're welcome, Cecilia. Liz Eastlake, how you doing? Oh, Lubna, yes, Mr. Inspiration. Yeah, you know what? I just love doing this stuff. All right, Andy, a friend shared my resume with an employer, a large state agency. She won't disclose the department management name. She's too laid back. Oy. Need to separate her from job search loot without offending her. You don't need to do anything. Okay, life lesson here of how I live my life and why I am never overly stressed out for things that are outside of my control. Liz, you are one of the nicest people I've ever met. I know this. We've talked several times. I can say that. If this is me and the friend is not being helpful and it's ridiculous that she circulated this. She's worried that you're going to go contact these people. It's going to make her look bad and so forth. I would not even think about her ever. And I would just move on. You don't actually need to overtly separate her from the loop. I would just not acknowledge her. Now, if somebody in the department calls you and says, I got your name from Susie or Samantha or whoever, then okay, that's great. And then I would ask him or her I would ask her if she has any insight. But I wouldn't. I don't know that I would be overly. Wouldn't exert a lot of energy. And when I was talking about energy, anything in my life that doesn't contribute to my happiness, I don't spend any time with. I really don't. And you would be surprised how much more is in your control than you, not just for Liz, for anybody, how much more is in your control than you think. And I understand, you got family and mom and dad and all that stuff, but we bring it on ourselves. Dania, how you doing? Alex Hayes, thank you for your resume template. Wonderful, worked wonders. Also, this talk couldn't come at a more perfect time for me as I'm reviewing positions abroad. Wonderful, love it. Akshay, hey Andy, who is your coach? Totally fine if you don't. Oh no, I don't have any problem. You know what I do? Here's what I do. I spend an hour a day. Actually, I'm actually gonna share some of this with my leadership program, but I'm gonna give you a little snippet here. I spend an hour a day on pure education every single day, weekend, everything, 7 days, 365, and every single day I spend about an hour on education or practice improvement of anything that I do. So it could be reading, it could be watching YouTube videos, it could be podcasts, it could be lots of times in my training programs. Like I have the boot camp or the leadership program. Well, I buy programs from my coaches. for different facets of my business. And what I've done is over the life of my training, which not only has it been lifelong, but in the last 4 years, it's been highly intense. So I've spent 500-600 hours a year in, year out on training. So imagine that. So that's like most people work 2,000 hours in a regular job. I work my job and add 500 to 600 hours of training on top of it. And then what I do is I wade through the different coaches. I see who I like. I drop off who I don't. I invest in programs so I can go through them to see what the best the coach has to offer. And if I don't like that, then I dismiss it. What I've done is I've had 7 or 8 of these coaches that I've spent a lot of money with to look at all their best stuff, and I've dropped almost all of them with the exception, there's a few of them. Some of them I drop because they're not available, okay? And I think they're getting lazy. And but the one guy who I love, who helps me with my marketing, is Brendan Burchard. So I'm in his programs around my influencer business. And what's really interesting is you're cooking when you go to the monthly lessons live with him, and you've already figured out well in advance what he's teaching. So he's going through it, I'm going through it, and what happened is he was way out in front of me, and then I hurried, and I caught him. Now, I'm not saying I'm him or that, but I'm just saying internal tactics of what's working in the market and what isn't. I'm there. So, but he brought me there. He brought me there faster. He that's what he's supposed to do. But he's available. And his stuff is good, and it's in alignment with what I'm discovering, and it makes sense. Just like when I coach you on your careers, if what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you and you're putting things in practice and it's not working, you're not going to follow me, right? But the other thing that I think is really important is that your coach is there for you. And he is very generous with his time in his premium programs and even in his free stuff. And a lot of my other coaches, I can't find them anywhere. So I drop them. That's what I do. And you know what? If what I'm saying isn't working for you, you should drop me. But one thing I can assure you of is I'm going to be available. And so that's, that's how I go about picking and choosing and building my Franken mentor. But he's the one guy that I'm with still. All right. Okay, wait. Yasin, thanks, Andy. However, my experience is so far better after getting my PhD. I can't hide it, can't replace it with professional experience. That's okay, as research works are not equivalent to industry. The research work is not equivalent. It is in alignment with. So where is your research? So what did you research? Is there a way to take either your researching content, what you did, or you're researching tactics? Researching itself is a skill. Are there industry-specific positions? I don't know what your research is, but is it analytics, data? Is it medicine, biology? Whatever it might be, I would look and try to apply the skill itself, not just the content. That's what I'm talking about, connecting the dots. All right, Dig Marie. I'm moving into a state that doesn't pay well in the field of case management and social work. I am aiming at applying elsewhere in order to make what I may earn, I'm assuming, or more where I currently work. I'm cool with that. Would you recommend I do that initially? So I have found that everybody has different needs in their life. And at different stages of my 3-decade career, I had different needs and different desires, and different things mattered to me. What I have come to realize that I do not expect anybody at any moment in time to agree with is that I am far more happy when I am doing the things that I know I was meant to do, that I obtain enjoyment from helping you, and I don't need to necessarily trade dollar for dollar. I'm in a different part of my life now. But I would always go back to, there is a balance between how much money you need to live and your happiness. So I don't recommend people that are in very well-paying jobs, if they're absolutely miserable, there's no amount of money that's worth my sanity. I did that. I left a very lucrative job to go to another job. This is back when I was in my early 30s, and I basically moved over for a lateral-ish move, but I was very, very happy, and then I ended up figuring out a way to earn more money doing that. And then the same thing, I left a job and I went to make no money as a recruiter, and then I found out I make a good living with that, and then I'm doing it again. So I can't say, you should change out of social work. If you love social work and you feel good, then I would try to stay and figure out if either I can cut my expenses, or maybe you have a side hustle or something like that. I really can't tell you what you should do, and I would never do that. I would never tell you what you should do or how to feel. But if you love social work, then I would stick with it. If you feel like you need more money, is there a way to earn some side money and still stay in that? Or you could try to transfer an element of the social work into something else that pays better. Any of those are viable options, but they're all entirely up to you. So I hope that helps. All right, Let me see where I was. Try to keep going. 1:30. I gotta get rolling soon, folks. All right, let me see. Michael, you're welcome. This is a good one. I don't know, it's a J.I. All right, let me try to get this one in here too. On the recruiter note, what if you've already talked to the recruiter and after the details of the position emerge, you're not interested? Great question. In that case, here's what I would say. I would say to the recruiter, so you said, should you continue to interview anyway? No. If you are absolutely certain that you do not, so there's multiple jump out points. Let's try this scenario. Recruiter contacts you. It's a third party, I'm assuming, says, hey, this is great. I've got this opportunity. Would you be interested in? Now, it doesn't sound super exciting to you, but if you've got your requirements in order, which you may or may not have, you might not be able to determine this. So at this moment, you're going off feelings, emotions, and a tiny amount of information. That's at the first stage. They give you a job description or the recruiter walks you through it. Do not be quick to judge the alignment at this point. First off, this recruiter doesn't work for that company. Secondly, you never know if you get into the process, if they augment the role or move you to a different role. Remember, possibilities, the art of the possible. That's what should be going through your head at this moment. Now, if you love the job you're in and this is going to require you to take time out and hours and this and that, that's different. But if you are in job search mode, go. Okay? When in doubt, go. Go to the interview. Keep going. Until you get to the point where you are absolutely certain this is not for you. Then you bug out. Then you say to the recruiter, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I recognize based on this information, this is not for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you. Hopefully you've been given the recruiter referrals along the way, or at least go ahead now and do that. I'd love to stay in touch. And this is the thing that clued me in that this was not for me. The recruiter's got to update his or her dossier on you, right? It's got to go in the database and all that. Totally okay. When people do that with me, totally fine. Had a guy, absolutely loved this guy in his mid-60s. Guy I've known, guy I've placed. It was the first call I made when we were doing another senior level search. He says, yeah, that sounds interesting. He goes in to talk to the CEO. After they get done, or actually I should say on the phone, calls me back and says, Andy, you know what? It's just like you relayed, and I loved this guy, and Rob was great, but I thought about it, and I don't really want to learn this new industry, even though I'm transferring these skills, blah, blah, blah. No problem. You thought about it, right? You didn't love it enough or whatever. I'm totally cool with that. That guy's ace is in my book. That won't change. You know what I mean? And I knew him, but still, the story stands. Even if I didn't know him and I was just building the relationship with him, the fact that he was upfront and then did not waste any more of my time in a situation that was not going to come to fruition, there's no reason to keep going, right? He's stealing time from me when I could be out pursuing other people. So that's my view on that. All right, listen, folks, I got to run. The Resume Writing Masterclass. The link is in the description on this video. The link is in the chat. It's in the email I sent you this morning. We got a live private coaching session on Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. That also means live office hours. We'll be back next Thursday on the 29th. I am here Tuesday the 27th for my birthday celebration with you guys. So I'll be there on Tuesday morning with you live. If you want to see me live this week, you got to get in the resume writing class. It's really a great $49. It's a wonderful way to get all the stuff in a neat little package. In that link I put in there, there's a video. It's about 4.5 minutes where I show you almost everything that's in there because I just added a few things. So it's even better than what the video says. But check it out. You'll see exactly what it looks like. And then Thursday, we're talking all resume stuff. And then my Out of Reach book. This is available, and make sure you check out the Goal Setting Masterclass September 3, 4, and 5, because once that's done and shot, the only way to get that stuff is to enroll in one of my programs, either that program or the leadership program. All right, folks, great seeing you guys. Have fun. I'm going to tell Kara she missed a great time. Love you as always, and I'll see you in a couple.